All right, so I moved and now I'm in my kitchen and we're going to speak briefly about things not turning out how you had expected them to. And moving through your life, of course, we all know that there's going to be times when you're disappointed where, that didn't work out how I thought it was going to work. But what happens when you get yourself into a situation or you find yourself in a situation where this is seriously not how I thought my story was going to end? I mean, really. So I'm seated here on purpose, okay? Over here, you can see that light bulb up on the ceiling. And over there, you can see those white bins with the red bag. All right, they're from two different parts of my life, if you will. Now, the light bulb up there, the reason I bought this house, so this was a new construction house when I bought it, was for a couple reasons. Number one, I love the area. It was very underdeveloped, and it was my wanting to like leave emergency life away and have like an escape where I could, chill out and be removed from the insanity of like a city life. But when the house was being built, they wanted to put fluorescent lighting up there. I cannot stand fluorescent lights. So what I did was I said, don't put the fluorescent light up there, put a regular light bulb. Now that was several years ago. And since then, we've had change in the real estate market and have taken different paths in my life. And I'll tell you, when I built this home, I really thought that I was going to have a family here. And it hasn't come to fruition. And that's like a big part of my life that was a reason for me. I didn't go to medical school. Before, I never wanted to be a nurse. I was on my path to go to medical school. I was a psych major and was taking the prereqs, as you should, to move through undergrad with the intention of going to medical school. And then, it was another one of those anvil on the head moments that happened. And I just changed my mind and went to nursing school. But primarily for the reason that I knew if I went to med school, I was going to pick a specialty that was going to not necessarily preclude me from having a family, but it wasn't going to allow me to be the type of mom that I really wanted to be, which is one who raised her own kids and didn't just have them, out to, for anybody else to. I want to be it's, no offense to anybody, but that's my own personal wantingness. And by the time everything was said and done, the light bulb is a representation that it didn't happen. And that was one of the reasons, again, why I decided so drastically to change how I was doing things, because every single day I look at that freaking light bulb up there. It's a daily reminder to me of why I started to do the things that I started to do several years ago. So is it annoying? Is it aesthetically pleasing? I mean, obviously the answers are there, but use that aggravation, if you would, to fuel yourself in a positive way so that you can keep on moving forward even after you determine that the track that you're on no longer serves you. I'm putting this thing on a brand new track. This is the reason why, and we're moving forward with that. Okay? Now, let's say you put yourself on a different track and you decide to do something completely new and different. Reference those bins in the bag up there. All right, so what you didn't know, or maybe you didn't know, was that I actually, before launching a training academy, what I actually did was I designed a baking line, which is free of 7 of the top baking food allergens, right? So peanut and tree nut and soy and dairy, gluten, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I did that. And my goal was to put it on the market. And I did this, to condense a long story very, very short. And the avenues and the places where I was baking and then selling my product, it just wasn't the right fit. And consequently, now I house all of the extra equipment that I bought to make that operation possible. You have to make executive decisions that you can try and you can try and you can try. But if you're meeting the same resistance over and over and over and over and over again, and it's not because you're just not putting forth enough effort, or you're not, executing on that plan or doing the actions for a long enough time to realize your success, but when you honestly know that what you're doing is either not the right thing for you to be doing, God's calling you in a different way, it's not the right place for you to be doing that, you have every right to change your mind or move something in a completely different direction. So what I'm telling you is that failure is never final, okay? And it's definitely not fatal. So mistakes are learning experiences. And while I didn't incur a whole lot of financial benefit from moving forward with that thing, I learned so much along the way of what I want and what I don't want that has empowered me and given me other tools to bring to you on how to either not make the same mistakes, or more specifically, tell you how to move more quickly from point A to point B. Success is never linear. It always takes you on this little loop-de-loop thing. It's just up to you on how long you decide to go on these alternative paths, and then checkpoint to make sure that you're not going completely astray, that you're eventually going to be coming back and hitting your target goal.